Yes, every decision we make changes and shapes our lives and that of our future. We stand to make our lives better and our future worthy of being looked forward to when we start making quality decisions. On that note, I'm bidding you a very beautiful welcome to the show, Real Talk with Kike today. Today, of course, our beautiful chief host is not around to sit on a hot seat, but I will be sitting on it for her today. My name is Omotunde Adebowale David, aka Lolo One. I won't be doing this alone because my, of course, ever great co-host will be sitting along with me on this journey. Damilola, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. You look beautiful, blue. It's just like you're blowing me away.
Yeah, oh my God.
Good afternoon, everybody from everywhere. You have the pleasure to see us today. It's another beautiful Real Talk with Kike show. We're going to be doing it the way we always do it. Exciting, exhilarating, all the words, all the big grammar. Just make it a time with us, sit with us, and Marsha is here.
Yeah, I'm here indeed, you know. It's good to be here, guys. Lolo, wonderful start off. And I'd like to say it's my honor to be here and have you host the show.
And look at her directly, perpendicular opposite to each other.
Marsha,
to be on a show
I don't know, this is like daytime show, but you put an evening twist to it. Why?
Oh, really?
Really?
Yes.
No, I'm just feeling, really, sincerely, it's the first time I'm on a show you are hosting.
Really?
Yes, it is. So it's an honor to be here.
Thank you. Of course, we're going to make sure that today is an amazing day. On this day in history, General Murtala Ramat Mohammed proclaimed Abuja as the new federal capital territory some time ago. But you're going to enjoy that on our Today in History segment. We'll be right back. Please.
On this day in history, 1976, exactly 46 years ago, General Murtala Ramat Mohammed, 1938 to 1976, proclaimed Abuja as the new federal capital. The movement of the federal capital territory from Lagos to Abuja took place on the 12th of December 1991 because of Lagos' population boom that made the city overcrowded and conditions swallowed. The master plan for Abuja and the federal capital territory, FCT, was developed by International Planning Associates, IPA, a consortium of 3 American firms, Planning Research Corporation, Wallace, McHarg, Roberts, and Todd, and Archie Systems, a division of the Hughes organization. The territory is located just north of the confluence of the Niger River and Bedouin River. It is bordered by the states of Niger to the west and north, Kaduna to the northeast, Nasarawa to the east and south, and Kogi to the southwest.
You saw today in history when Nigeria actually moved our federal capital territory to Abuja because Lagos was, bursting in its seams with, a large population. Would you say that's a real reason why? Do we need serenity in our federal capital territory? Or what don't you think is about the commercial value of the state?
It was a thing at the time, and it still is a thing. The concentration, the idea was to decentralize, so to speak, or depopulate the Lagos state at the time. And it's got all the commercial attractions, it's got all the social attractions, and it would have been I think it was nice thinking it out that, look, we could move democratic attention away from Lagos if that is the only thing that they can move to somewhere up north. And it paid off, I'd say, at the time. I think it did pay off because Lagos is still the center of attraction in Nigeria, whether democratic capital or
still
not.
The capital.
I was going to ask Damilola that Lagos seemed to be even more popular than Abuja.
Yes.
If you're going to say, would you say
I'm
that?
from Lagos. I beg your pardon. Lagos is still the capital of Nigeria because I think everything that happens.
It's not the capital of Nigeria.
No.
Lagos, leave FCT. We know.
Commercial capital.
It's a commercial capital.
So if it's not commercial, what else now? Commercial is the one driving everything now. You people should cut it, give it to us now.
Anyway, of course, it's a monumental time in our lives as Nigerians, and it's been done. And of course, a lot of children born in a long time does not even know Lagos was the capital of Nigeria at some point. All right, moving forward, we'll be going to take a message from our sponsors. When we come back, we have a lot of serious discuss to bring to you today. Very serious discussions. But please stay with us. You'd enjoy the show with us. Welcome if you're just joining us. The show is Real Talk with Kike, and we're about to get into the very fabric of today's discussion. We have a weighty discussion on our table today because it's a matter of oil. And you know, Nigeria, I think our Nigeria, we made our money from oil. So it's a very, very important thing to us in Nigeria. We will be discussing the issue of oil theft. And this one has crippled our petroleum sector for decades amidst non-functional refineries, which have become something that we have lived with for a very long time. Previous presidential administrations have promised to make our refineries work at different times, but all of them have failed in their promises. Now, to add to the issues of that, we now have the big issue landing on our table, which is the issue of oil theft. One of our big trending stories, we have one that says Nigeria lost 1.6 trillion to oil theft in the last 9 months. Elumelu was the one that propagated that one, said that one. If we're looking at it historically, like between January 2021 and September just this last year that we passed, Nigeria has lost about $4 billion. That's about 1.68 I think trillion naira to crude oil theft in the Niger Delta region alone, according to Mr. Tony Elumelu, the chairman of Heirs Holding and the UBA Group. Honestly, gentlemen of this table, we need to discuss this. In the earlier years, we were talking about oil bunkering. We were talking about the Niger Delta community feeling mismanaged, feeling as if the resources are not even doing anything for the region. But now, we are still getting our money from the oil sector. What are we going to do now that people are actually stealing the oil that is supposed to serve everybody? It's bad enough that the money for the oil is going up and down. Now we're having oil theft as a big issue. What are we going to do about it?
My challenge is, Lolo, I can't seem to wrap my head around why the government would not give license to these modular refineries. You've got oil bunkery thriving in the south or the southern part, and you have, if you see these refineries, these local refineries that they come about and their numbers, you'd begin to wonder if these individuals can put effort together to begin to refine this crude. If first of all, tap this crude, refine them locally. What then is the challenge with the national monument, the refineries refinery itself? So, and then if you're not ready to make the refineries or look for the solution to the refineries and get them to start working, why don't you just find a way to get these modular refineries improved?
Working. Recently they say like 5 months after signing, there was a lot of hula baloo. And 5 months after signing, when the president has signed the National Assembly to seeking the amendment of this Petroleum Industry Act, a lot of people have talked about it, signed into law in August 2021. Of course, everybody was so happy that eventually this thing that has caused a lot of fanfare and talk, it was welcomed. But now we're talking about our oil reserve is going down. He said we lost about $3.5 billion in 2021 alone, and that's like 10% of the country's foreign reserves. Our foreign reserve is deeping.
I think
how are we going to survive?
I just think that we keep going in circles because Nigeria as a country, it's like knowing your problem and knowing the solution but not wanting to do it. That's how it is, because like you said, you can disenfranchise, you can empower these local machineries or what them, so to speak, to, okay, you people can do this thing. If the bigger picture is not doing it, we can start small. We are borrowing money to fill in this space or to fill in the hole. Now this hole that is given, how would we be borrowing and we are losing? What exactly are we doing? What's the plus or minus? What's the rationale behind it? Because sometimes it's like penny wise, pound foolish.
But when Marshall was talking, actually I was thinking that now we're trying to reduce the prevalence of oil theft, and we need to develop the sector. If if the money that is coming into the sector is going through fraudulent ways and through a lot of people that are not supposed to gain from it, how are we ever going to be able to develop this sector?
If you want to plug the leakages, you would plug the leakages. If you want to do that, I think we had a guest here some time ago who was talking about, when we were talking about subsidy and all of that, and he spoke about how when you go to the borders, you see tankers, droves in their numbers, you know, driving out of Nigeria with our product, you know. And then here we are as a country, we import this fuel. We export the crude and then import the fuel, and then some guys are doing illegal exportation of this same fuel
and making money.
And does it feel like it's in the shadows? Nobody knows. Nobody is seeing it.
Exactly.
You know, I just wonder that when Dami was saying, I like the angle that we know the challenge, but yet we're not like putting our, is it that we want the country to fail? Because I'm wondering that a lot of Nigeria is losing major
Dami doesn't think it's you should be spelling
we. It's not we. It's not we. It's not a we. It's not a we challenge. No, it's them, because now we have done our part.
Now it's them.
No, it's them. No, let's analyze.
Before we begin to analyze,
have done our part by going to vote.
Yes.
Now the ones that we voted for have not shown enough credibility.
Anyway, before
to do their job. I'm not the one that will enact law now.
All right,
I'm not National Assembly.
We need to, because today is about, you know, we're going to be talking about a lot of topical things and trending things. And I know that Nigerians are eager to join in this conversation about this oil theft. You can call our phone lines. Of course, it's scrolling on your TV screen. Please call us from anywhere you are in the country to be able to join in this conversation. The rate at which our oil is being stolen is costing us a lot of
I know
grief.
How long it took jet fighters, I think the Nigerian Air Force, or the Nigerian Navy, if I'm not mistaken, around Arepo, where they discovered an illegal bunkering there. And I knew how long it took them to fight to bombard that place. So there are different places. There was a day I was traveling along Benin or Ondo Express Road, and just in the forest, tankers are coming outside. What did they go to do there? Excursion. And people see them, but now who are they paying? Somebody is collecting money for all these.
But what do we even do? Because we're hemorrhaging from all sides. Now we're losing major investors in the oil sector. There are many oil companies that are pulling their bags and leaving the country. And this seems to be our major source of income. Every other sources that we have been talking about, it's just like table talk.
Well,
agriculture
you're the one who has continued to make it your major source of income. I mean, several experts and several ministers and advisors have continued to say, look, we should diversify the mainstay of the economy. We should diversify the mainstream of the economy. But I think we've had that this present administration, as led by President Muhammadu Buhari, is more agrarian than any other. But I don't know if that transcends to how much food you have in your barn at home, how much food or how cheaper the price of rice is in the market or the price of gari is. As much as this administration has been attributed to be the most agrarian administration, you know, so far, does it transcend to cheaper food? Does it transcend to more food? Or is it the rice pyramid that Dami was talking about the other day? So there is a huge need to diversify the mainstay of the economy.
Oh, yes, totally.
We cannot dwell on... See, global experts, economic experts on the global stage have said oil is losing its value.
Every country is discovering oil.
You know,
even the US, there's some parts of it now that have oil, and it's fluctuating in the market. But even that one aside, I think when we're talking about, okay, maybe the government are not even aware or do not know the solutions. There's a, I know that September last year, we have, all right, we have Nas from Delta State on the line. Please, Nas, can we have your comment? Hello, Nas. You're welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon. Please turn down the volume of your TV set, please.
Yes, my volume is completely on zero.
All right, make your point very quickly, sir.
Yes, please. You see, program you are discussing now. those same people that are in charge of protecting this oil, they are the people involved in the stealing. So let's not deceive ourselves, please. Yeah, let's not deceive ourselves. That is just the truth.
Thank you
very much. He went straight to the point. He said,
this was what I said. We know the problem. It's like you know the thief, but you are covering the thief.
Damilola, wait. Before we even talking about whether we know what the issue are, it was said that September last year, like the government set up a committee for the recovery of crude oil and illegally refined petroleum product. And this group actually comprised of the Department of Petroleum Resources, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, the National Oil Spill Detection and the Response Agency, and the Nigerian Army and Navy. The Nigerian Security and Defense Corps too were in it. But were all these big agencies, imagine you're having like 7 agencies. They should have been able to, block it.
Should I answer you?
But we're still
should I give you an answer? It's as elusive as asking that, telling Nigerians that we're not going to approve the whatever it is right now, and price of fuel and all that, loan and all that. Having the National Assembly set up an ad hoc committee to investigate how fuel price or how much fuel Nigerians consume in a day. And in doing so, the National Assembly is saying you'll talk to the commercial bus drivers, you'll talk to the marketers. Yes. I mean, it's as elusive as that. You are a federal republic and you've got years of dependence on oil. Your economy has been growing on its revenue generated from oil. And then you sit down one day and you say you do not know how much you make from it. You do not know how much is being consumed of it. That you'll have to talk to the commercial bus drivers. They will be the ones to tell you
that low.
I mean, it's an elusive
You
thing.
can totally join this conversation by calling our phone lines. It's just scrolling on your TV screen to be able to join in this robust conversation. Damilola was amplifying pipeline vandalism, smugglers and illegal bunkering. Aside what they do, how about the human carnage, the destruction of lives and property, the degradation of the land itself that people are suffering? That is not even about the oil itself. It's the resultant effect of it. How are we to deal with that? We're losing money from the oil. The land is being eroded,
and the loss of lives in the case of explosions and all that.
Is it now that we have these issues? Because
please hold your thoughts. We have KC Fresh from Lagos. Hello, KC. Hello, KC.
Okay, I tuned in just now and heard that 2 people are discussing about oil. Hello?
Yes, please go ahead, Casey. Hello, Casey.
Go ahead.
I think we're going to lose.
Hello, Casey. Maybe we lost the call. You please do well to call us back. We'll be very interested in knowing what you have to say. We're talking about loss of lives. In Lagos alone, I know how many this illegal oil bunkering has cost us as a people. We're losing property, we're losing people's lives, the land is, infrastructures are destroyed.
You find out that we're here at Victoria Island. Maybe when you're driving out and somewhere on the bridge of Lagos or somewhere on the road of Lagos, a tanker breaks down and is spilling fuel. What is the first thing anybody wants to do?
Scoop it.
That's it. That's the mentality. It's in the head. People. It's scoop it.
Is it about their poverty or they do not know the gravity?
We are going back to where the problem started from. If it's not poverty, is what's it called? Lack of education. What's that word that it's eluded me? Ignorance, because they don't even know that we've seen people carry keg to go and scoop fuel and they got burnt now. Did you not know that is hazardous?
Yeah, but people would rather
risk their lives because nobody wants to even make it easier for you.
But did you hear like a funny, like I was listening to the River State Governor Onyesom Wike. I heard one of his interview, or I just heard like a phone conversation or him just talking about clamping down on illegal bunkering, and he was really vehement about it. I'm like,
but he's been doing that. He's been doing that.
Is it that his words does not hold any power or force? That if the governor of a state like Rivers State would be screaming and shouting and talking about clamping down on illegal refineries and oil bunkering, so would you not say that the people that are perpetrating this particular act,
like, did they not hear it?
Are they far above the law, or what would we say?
They'll rather risk their
You know,
lives.
there's a popular statement: if I die, I die. That's a typical way of the average Nigerian mentality. After all, somebody will say, "Oh, die, nah die." So somebody will rather want
caller from Abuja.
Okay.
We have a caller from Abuja. Israel. Good morning. Good afternoon, Israel. Hello, Israel. Hello, please turn down the volume of your TV set first.
I turned that down.
All right, may please
go ahead.
Give us your comments.
Okay. This is, I'm a little boy. I'm just 20 years old. And before they gave birth to me, Nigeria has been having the issues, or I've been having this issue of petroleum. So the thing is that, when is this issue going to die down? We know the problem. We know the problem. We don't just expect it. I think I'm alive now. Even my great grandchildren, they'll come to me to say issue of petroleum. They know where the issue is coming from, but they don't sort it out. So I'm a little boy. I'm not worth 20, but I know what's going on. Nigeria, I know where the issue is coming from. They don't want to sort it out. Well, nice show. Have a nice day, man.
Thank you
very
so
much,
Israel.
and have a great day.
But do you know this last caller said he's not even up to 20? I'm wondering the education and what our children are seeing. I think that is part of what is tearing the fabric of this nation. If a before 20-year-old or I don't even know how to call him, is already having these
thought that hope is children.
All right, we
we
will be taking a quick break. By the time we return, we'll be moving on to the next topic so that we can discuss all that is on our table. Please stay with us. We'll be going straight to the next topic that we have. The People's Democratic Party presidential aspirant Dele Momodu has boasted that he's confident that he will beat other aspirants, including the former vice president, that is Atiku Abubakar, the former Senate president Bukola Saraki, and others to win the party's ticket ahead of the 2023 election. So tell us, do you think that his boast is going to
hold water?
Is going to hold water? Do you think he has enough metal?
Well, maybe from the angle of Marshall.
He's a politician. He'll talk like every other politician. The truth of the matter is that Dele Momodu is an astute individual that I admire. As to whether or not he can defeat these other veteran politicians, well, it's left for us to find out when he gets in the ring. Atiku, you talk about a person like Atiku who's been former vice president.
Politics for a long time,
you know,
former vice president.
Yes, former vice president and two-time contender for the seat of presidency. He's also, Dele Momodu has also been up in the race for presidency, I think twice. Or twice, I think. You know, but you'd want to look at the antecedents and pedigree, politically speaking. You know, he's an outstanding journalist par excellence, but I mean, when it comes to politics, especially in a place like Nigeria.
I think in his quotes he said he's fresh and untainted.
Yeah, that word untainted.
Why did that shock you?
Untainted. It's like Nigeria. Is it like Nigeria? Anything like untainted? I don't know. I'm just asking that. Well, for somebody to in law, they say you are.
So we should ask you, Lolo. Do you think Dele Momodu is tainted in any way?
Well, I wouldn't say that I know categorically, but I'm just saying generally, Nigerians, we wear white, but we all sell palm oil. So to say untainted is a bit, until somebody comes out to prove, actually.
I think it's
so if you put your character, actually in court, if you put your character out in court, then you make it a subject of it. He has put something as categorical as untainted out.
So now it's left for the electorate to
anybody can puncture a hole and say, sir, this and that can be
allegations again.
The allegation.
Well, in my thoughts, well, for that statement, I think his confidence of himself, first of all, and confidence goes along.
They always are.
Yeah, Yes, like confidence goes a long way. Now, if we look at what, like you said, the antecedents, okay, who is Dele Momodu? What's his persona? What's his character? How does he? If we look by Ovation magazine alone, having managed Ovation for over 20 years, still standing strong, it shows you that, yes, he's a very good manager. Some politicians cannot manage their own company. We know them, but we will not mention them.
But let's even move away from maybe Dele Momodu. Let's look at the character of the other two people he's contending with. People of the people like Bukola Saraki.
And they're not the only ones.
They're not the only ones. At least maybe the prominent ones or the ones that have really put out that they are interested. Would you say, weighing the three of them, who is heavier? Because Bukola Saraki has been
former senator,
former governor, so he has pedigree.
From even his father Olushola Saraki, from the Kwara
dynasty, from a family of politicians, and all of that. And Dele Momodu is, as I know, is a politician and a journalist.
But you don't win elections by beautiful and exquisite manifesto in Nigeria. That's the truth. We've seen very, very outspoken candidates come out.
4 years back, I was listening to Kingsley Moghalu and I was having goosebumps and like, oh wow,
the likes of Babatunde, Olalere Gbadamosi. When I heard him speak during the primaries in Lagos, when he was up in the race, I said, no way, this guy's going to be the next guy.
I wish it's about oratory.
But he didn't make it through the primaries. You've got the permutations within the political stalwarts. Party stalwarts. You've got also the clouds. How popular are you? Even when you make it through, defeat your opponents within the primaries, if you do your permutations rightly, how popular are you on a national scale? So,
when I look at Nigerian politics, and a lot of people don't know that lobbying is actually an art in politicking.
Yeah.
People, it's not about bribery. It's about, do you have the ability to be able to sway people to your side? So when you were saying, does he have, it depends on how he's able to, get through the primary, permutate, I like the word you used. A lot of people don't know that lobbying is actually an art in politics.
Yes,
do you think Nigerians actually know how to sway people rightly?
God bless you.
To their side.
God bless you. So,
I think one path is the people. Another path is the party.
The politician.
The politician. You cannot, even if the people love you, they have unflinching love for you, like they love you. If the politicians do not present you, there's nothing we can do.
See, we've seen situations where, Lolo, you as a candidate, you've got your husband, you've got your children, 6 children, you've got your father and mother, and you're not able to secure 3 votes.
That means members of your family did not even vote. Don't forget, you can still join in this conversation by calling us. Who do you think? Do you think of the 3 giants that are vying or that we're talking about on this table for PDP candidature, especially for the primaries, Dele Momodu, Atiku Abubakar, and Bukola Saraki? Who's the weightier elephant?
Let's just do it.
My people will say bad talk with laughter or a buruku to But that place that you went to. I remember, I think, was it this last dispensation or the one before?
Miami?
There was a lady who
Miami.
Yeah.
There was a
you see that place I went, I was wondering.
No, it's not that. Let's not open the secret. There was a woman who contested for presidency. I think 8 years back.
8 years back. That's the Power Party is Kowa Party.
I think
Professor
that name has a look. But yes, I know she was the only woman who contested there. And we saw it. We know, see, Nigerian politics is stiff, as if they hold you by the throat. But I think that 2023, with the way things are actually going, we should just cut ourselves some slack. Let us have a breath of fresh air. Things have things have gone too bad.
Do you know,
for us not to have?
I like the train of thought you were following, and I wanted to follow up with a question. Do you not think that the parties right now should be looking at the terrain to see that I think something is changing in Nigerians? So they will be doing themselves a lot of good as a party to study the topography of Nigeria. Do you think PDP and their counterpart like APC, they should be thinking of doing something a little different? Maybe they're going to shock us.
They should not shock us. So we have shock absorber. So you will not shock yourself.
No, like fielding a candidate that
you see what you just said now. Sorry, Daddy. Okay. What you just said now. it is now left for a candidate like Dele Momodu to throw up this fact, to say, look, something is changing in Nigerians. We can't keep doing the same thing the same way.
Did you see Akinwumi Ambode's statement to the youth? Who said, he categorically put it out on Twitter and said that Nigerian youths are awake now. We know what we want, but we should not still lose guard, because there's a chance that they will just change us.
But I was going to do a random take here. Lolo, you, right now, Atiku Abubakar, Bukola Saraki, and Dele Momodu. Who are you voting for right now?
That's putting me on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's primaries. It's not.
It's primaries.
Not, yes.
As far as I'm concerned, I would choose Dele Momodu.
Dele Momodu. Okay, fine. Dele Momodu's got one vote here on Real Talk with Kike Show, and now that means you've got 3 contenders.
There's one of our popular TV channels that say, I will vote, I will not vote. Vote for who?
Who would you vote for right now?
Because of the untainted. We've seen Saraki.
We've
seen
so Dele Momodu.
So Dele Momodu.
All right, we'll have a caller before we come to this consensus. Please, before you bring your point.
We have a caller right now. Let's who's live to us.
Israel from Abuja.
Israel is back to us.
Hello, Israel.
Hello, Israel.
Yes, hello.
Welcome, Israel.
So, actually, I don't want to judge this, right? But I feel like between these 3 contestants, I feel like Bukola Saraki is going to win the primary.
Oh, okay. Why would you say that? Hello, Israel. Can you hear us?
Why would you go for Bukola?
Why would you go for Bukola Saraki?
I don't know, maybe I feel like the best and we are in town. So politics is all about who you know now.
Oh, so he feels that maybe Bukola Saraki knows more people within the party.
It's clout.
It's clout.
Why I categorically said Dele Momodu is because we've seen Bukola rule Kwara State.
Yeah.
My mom is from Kwara State. I tell people I'm Lagos Kwara. So as much as I know Lagos story, I know Kwara story. I'm not saying Bukola Saraki is bad, but we know what Kwara was, and we know the Kwara story. So he has done it in Kwara.
So he's a bad option.
I did not say that.
No, you're not saying he's bad, but he's a bad option.
On this table,
it's not an option.
Okay,
it's not
an
an option for me.
So it's Dele Momodu.
Now, Dele
So
Momodu.
who
The
would
thing
you be
is,
voting for, Marshall?
Who would I be voting for? I'm INEC now. I'm the one conducting the election. Don't worry, just give it to Dele Momodu.
Actually, I know a lot of the sentiment that Dele Momodu probably is enjoying is the fact that it's a bit fresh. Maybe we haven't seen him, but we've seen him make a success of his journalism, his
career,
his empire.
His empire that he has built over the years, and what Nigerians are just looking for.
And I think he's untainted, if you ask me. I think as my senior colleague, I'll give it to him, Dele Momodu. I'd like to see a journalist there as a president.
That word just keeps sliding through my mouth like
Lola, you seem to know something that we do not know.
I'm just wondering, like Nigeria.
Really,
are you saying
when Jonathan came? I remember that the banner for that time, the banner for the election then was a breath of fresh air. We felt that it will change. Now we tried it. It didn't work. Fine. I think that another thing that's not really popular.
Leave banners. Even when Buhari was going, isn't the next level?
No, next level. We went to the next level. We could have been poverty. Next level of poverty. We know what we are experiencing. We know what we are facing. We know what rice was. We know what rice is.
We don't need to.
So
whether we like it or not, all I know is that we're still deliberating about the possibility of the primaries, and all of us should know that
not even spoken
the
about
primaries
it,
is no concern of us. It is a party matter.
It's a party thing.
So it's what PDP decides to put out eventually that they're going to stick by.
We're just throwing some light.
Yeah, we're just talking our own, hoping that maybe our discussion or Jamilola's,
we are Nigerians, and it really matters our voices. I would say that maybe 10-15 years ago, even broadcasters, journalists didn't vehemently used to speak up like this. It is affecting us. We have families. They have families.
Do you think that PDP has new blood aside Dele Momodu? Anyone aside him that is like new generation kind of politician that is.
Do they even have
amongst
blood at all? Anyway, I didn't say that. Well, let's just.
Please continue to join in this conversation. Very interesting conversation we've been having so far.
I'm more
on the
interested
show.
in Lagos.
Yeah,
Well,
you're very interested
I'm
in
interested
Lagos.
in Lagos politics. Very much interested in Lagos politics.
Yeah, interested in Lagos.
Yeah,
But
I
Lagos
am.
is not just Nigeria. We are talking Nigeria
No,
now. We're talking presidency.
If you are talking Nigeria, Ogun State will talk their own. Bayelsa will say everybody is from Lagos that you disseminate into Nigeria.
True.
First of all,
True.
so when we get it right, if Lagos was supposed to be the Lagos that is the Lagos, we will not be here. A lot of things happen in this Lagos that we're Lagos with 27 million people and still counting, and some of us are still pregnant. We are not giving birth.
Wow.
And we are here in Lagos in 2021, and we are going one baby step forward and 25 giant step backwards. I mean, Lagos should sit up, man.
Oh, wow, very interesting conversation. I'm sure if you're just joining us, the show is Real Talk with Kike. And today being Thursday, we're, talking about a lot of trending topics. We've discussed the issue of oil theft. We moved from that into a little bit of vandalism. We talked about illegal bunkering and everything surrounding that. And just now, we're just, discussing the PDP options for the primaries. We have the untainted Dele Momodu, and of course we have contenders like Atiku Abubakar and Dele Saraki, the Kwara Dele Saraki, Bukola
Saraki.
Sorry,
I think there's something with Lola.
Dele Saraki,
campaign manager loading.
All right, we have a caller on the line from Abuja. Please join us in the conversation. Hello.
Bukola Dele Saraki.
Hello.
Welcome.
How are you, Baris? Welcome.
Thank you.
Please join the conversation.
As you think Dele Momodu would win this?
Why would you say so, Baris? Hello? Oh, I think it just got us in time to just put in his votes, the one that Marshall decided not to put in.
Well, because if
I put
everybody
in
is
mine
swaying
later.
towards Dele
I put in
Momodu,
mine at the end
I
of the
think
day.
that it's just this connotation of breath. Let's even see
But
somebody who is new.
let's be careful. But this political dispensation that is going away, that is slowly fading out, one of their biggest slogan was they were going to bring change. And the change became the reality of now.
Change is relative. So the change that you expected might not have been the change that they were going to bring and brought up, eventually. And then from change, we saw next level. I'm just waiting patiently to see what APC will come with.
Whatever they chat.
Honestly, I'm looking forward to it. We saw change, then we saw next level, really. Whoever got their next level going up.
The
inflation went up.
The graph went up, really went up. But whoever is going to clinch that seat, just have sympathy. Have workable plans. It's not hard. Nigerians are talented. Just
all
like
right, before we take our final story, I think it's a good place to just take a breather, and when we return on the show, we will have one more story, and this one is totally not Nigerian, so but Nigeria is inside Sha.
Yeah, we are sitting.
We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. The show is still Real Talk with Kike on STV. Don't forget that we're streaming on all the platforms. You can watch us on the Real Talk with Kike platform, and of course you can still see us on STV platform. So even if you missed the show, just skip onto YouTube. You can watch a replay of the show today. Finally, a South African professor has come to use us as an example that is not flattering at all. He's asking Zimbabweans to copy Nigeria. People from Zimbabwe, he's telling them, a South African professor is saying that Zimbabweans should please copy Nigerians by leaving his country.
His fellow South Africans, because not South African as citizens of South Africa as a country, but Zimbabwe being a South African country as well.
Being in the country
they share very close boundaries, with Zimbabwe. It's unfortunate the way if it were left to Africans, if slavery was left to us, we would have done more
worse. I agree
than the whites did, the colonial masters did. Or let's leave it at slave traders would have done worse than the slave traders did. We've seen xenophobic attacks in even the Zimbabwe itself. We've seen xenophobic attack in South Africa. It seems to be the hotbed of xenophobia. And it is a word that is associated or seemingly associated with South Africa because of the way they treat their own people, quote and unquote, their own people, because that's what we are. We are our own people. And what bothers me about this, Lolo, the most is the fact that it is coming from someone who is expected to be more enlightened,
person, a professor,
learned,
erudite fellow,
professor. Say, copy Nigerians. Well, if you don't want, move out. Or if not, Efrebo.
I'm worried a bit about African unity. It seems like we have not learned from our history. You talked about now we're being very hostile to people of the same color. What is happening to Africa? How do we put up a united front against those that are still, forget that there's still a bit of racism in pockets of places abroad, even in America. As much as people don't like to talk about it, I see here some states are very white. Some places like Boston, you still see that is Minnesota and some Nebraska. You still see that those places are still heavily white. Even I hear that some European countries have some sort of colors. Racism now has different colors. Maybe it's not as dark colored as it was in the past.
Brown.
But now that Africa itself is showing enmity to itself, how do you think the foreign
would view
us as a people? They already say they refer to us like monkeys in the bush. So now that we're even showing them very barbaric, display that will be found among the animals, how would they see us?
In my intellect, I think that Africans are the enemies of Africans, because if there had been unity within Africans, even the whites will not be able to penetrate us. I mean, they will literally beg for favors from us. Africa is self-sufficient in every ramification. Human capital, natural resources, name it. We don't even have hurricane, volcano. We don't have natural disasters. We are the natural disasters of ourselves. Now let's put Africa as that map. If we narrow it down still to Nigeria, we still have discriminative people amongst us. And this is Igbo, that's Yoruba, and an Igbo man is siding an Hausa man, or an Igbo man is taking sides against the Yoruba man. How then do we now if we don't put our home front together, how do we want to take it out? Charity, they say, begins at home. So even in Zimbabwe, we read a lot of things, even Zimbabweans themselves. Then you go to another African country and you think you will not intimidate them. What do they speak about when they go and do West Africa or African Summit? What do they talk about? The African Union. What do they discuss? Because I don't understand.
But you know that I think, just like you said, these kinds of topics need to be put on the table now, because it has come to the very front. It's a front burner discussion, really. Don't you think that African leaders need to begin to charge themselves to develop their own countries? Because what is making migration happen? Everybody is leaving their home countries because it's maybe it's not conducive for them. Look at the exodus of Nigerians to Canada. Even in the dire temperatures, they would rather go and die in the cold than die of hunger.
I think it still comes back to what Dami raised. What are the African unions and these regional organizations, what do they discuss when they come together? It is about beyond, it is, we should go beyond looking at our own self, to begin to look at altogether a holistic approach to regions. Africa as a region, and then the sub-regions within the African state. And so I think I'd leave it on the stable of these agencies or regional agencies to look into. It is something that they need to put on the front burner. What begs my curiosity is seeing how the whites or the colonial slave traders, you have a caller?
Yes, I think a caller is trying to talk to us, but he wants to talk about the bunkering. But feel free to converse with us. Hello, James. Nah, I think we feel free to join in any of the conversations. All the topics are still very topical for you to talk about. You can talk about the oil theft if that's what you want to talk about, or the
Dele Momodu
issue,
xenophobia.
you want to talk about xenophobia and what the professor, the South African professor, talked about that we're still discussing on the table. But do you even think that these our unions are still as functional?
You know,
or is it in times of war that they come alive?
You know,
when they need troops.
Lolo, I was saying that what begs my curiosity is the fact that you see how the white slave traders have taken a back step to say, no, I think we were wrong with the from the abolition of slave trade till date. You've had the West say, no, we're wrong. Even within their own local national assemblies, you hear them say, look, we need to repatriate, we need to compensate, we need to apologize, we need to even do more to develop these people because we've hurt them.
Yeah.
I'm now thinking, you way be say you they do xenophobia now. You know, see say people way do them before.
They
regret. Why you they do them? Does it occur to me that, oh, in future sometime this professor and his generations to come will look back and say, oh no, we did wrong. I don't know how we reason.
You know, another thing, I when we have these internal attacks and everything, it results to chaos. And chaos means loss of lives.
Property.
It means loss of property.
It takes
looting first.
And they are destroying their own
economy as well.
It's like I look at it more like when I tell people that between an explosion and an implosion is more devastating because you are collapsing
internally, yes.
So that is more devastating. How are we going to recover as a people with all these kinds of rancor going on?
You know what you do? Just look at your camera, Lolo, and talk to that professor. Just talk to him. Somehow he just might be watching.
But why? No, let's even talk about South Africa. Because they seem to be the hub of all this xenophobia and things. Is it that the oppression they went through in the hands of...
Didn't teach them anything.
Sometimes they tell...
Zimbabwe came to their help. All African countries came to their help.
Now it's them that are now doing that.
No.
In fact, it did not toss it them. It's not.
I'm just wondering that as a South African person, I've heard of South Africans.
As a South African.
No. Sorry. I meant that I've heard South Africans say things like they hate people from this place. They come into their places to take their women, to take their businesses. And I'm wondering that Nigerians are naturally enterprising. Zimbabweans, Kenyans, they're farmers. They bring value to their country. So why would you be kicking against someone that is bringing development, bringing their currency, because they come into the country?
But I thank God that this professor is not even referring to Nigerians when he is asking or advising that they leave. He is saying that, look, Nigerians, Zimbabweans, just do like Nigerians. That means Nigerians are not even in the picture. You understand? That means, Nigerians are cooling off. Letting the South Africans be.
What he said, I see it as negative.
Absolutely.
He's trying to say
negative,
that we're cowards.
No.
Running.
No, I don't think so.
From the attack and the stress.
Do you think Nigerians can be cowed anyhow?
But that's what he's insinuating, that they should emulate us, that we're leaving their country. Because they're giving us a lot of grief. So Nigerians would rather pack up their businesses and go, and with their tail, their tail, but it's subject to interpretation.
Nigerians will leave South Africa, but South Africans are in Nigeria, and we still accommodate them. I mean, I've not seen a country as accommodating as Nigerians. Even in the worst situations, we still shift. We still give you that space. The little space we are sharing, we would love you to share it with us.
Look at the multinationals. Look at how many South African multinational companies we have in Nigeria.
Even when these xenophobic attacks started and we were trying to met out anger on them, we were still looking at the values they were bringing.
Exactly.
We were still considering
how they've impacted lives, the number of people they employ
that feed from them. So if African countries can emulate Nigerians, I mean, we are tough.
At this juncture, I think it's time to call out the professor, to really call out the South African government and say, look, it's high time you say no to xenophobia. It's high time you speak to the people who seem to be advocating or promoting xenophobia. It is wrong from all ramifications, and you should put a law that will deal decisively with people who appear to promote xenophobia. We should put an end to it.
The other day, Buhari said French people who are tired of France, they can come to Nigeria. There's space. If you're tired of South Africa, come to Nigeria. We have space. We will accommodate everybody.
Ambassador Dami.
Nigeria. If you travel Lagos to there's expanse of land.
We're talking about across the border. We're talking about far away in South Africa and people talking. If we bring it back to home, would you not say that the culture of the world is beginning to catch up with us here? Because what are they doing in the north? The headsmen killing their own people. Are you not saying that we're learning the wrong culture from, we're importing wrong what we see from outside into the country? Because you can't say we're talking about... When you say
what we see from outside,
like we're seeing South Africans you know, do this or perpetrate xenophobia and do these hateful acts to people of color of their own same color. And we're seeing Nigeria presently. We still see people causing carnage for the people.
I think it's different.
It learning?
It's different. It's the ideology behind the two acts are different. That is, on one hand, extremism, religious extremism, or some form of barbaric practice, you know, and indoctrination, forcing people to want to practice what you believe, and then taking their lives when they refuse. From Boko Haram, rejecting Western education, to Islamic extremism. It's different from the cultural divide that we're experiencing in South Africa, that we have failed to see each other as one. We have failed to see that, look, by even our color, we are one. Then by blood, we are one. We begin to create that divide which is not there. I think it's
so
different.
Like religious extremism in some, then cultural intolerance.
Yes, cultural intolerance.
Yes. I think I share your sentiments too, because it didn't start up like this. It's just like we started, this thing is supposed to be at level A, then some other people moved ahead and went to level E. Because it was not, if you look at 10, 15 years back, 20 years back, it never used to be. It started somehow and degenerated because they didn't curb it in time. Now everything is...
Well, it is well. Wow. I think we're winding down.
Well, winding, thank you so much. The conversation has been very robust and enriching. Love my co-host. Today we've had a very robust conversation. We've had like 4 trending topics that we've talked about. We talked about oil theft. Yes, and we've talked about the major investors that we're losing because of... you know, all this illegal bunkering and everything happening. We've also talked about the PDP and all the giants and elephants that they are fielding for their primaries this year around. And the final topic, we talked about the South African professor that said, be like Nigerian Zimbabweans, please leave and go back to your country. Wow. Very, very, very interesting and hard topics. But from us on the Real Kike talk show crew, we'll be saying thank you for joining us today. My name is, of course, our very beautiful yellow sunflower will be with us next week by the grace of God on Tuesday on the show. We'll miss you, Kike. But from me, Omotunde Adeboale David Lolowan, I say thank you and goodbye. So.
From me, Damlola Banire, I say thank you and goodbye. And this thing is very important. Please, if you're a logistic rider or a bike rider, be careful on the road. Just maintain one lane. We have too many issues of casualties every other day. I beg of you. Thank you.
My name is Marshall Anthony Onoye, and like I always say, if you forget everything you've heard here, do not forget my name. If you must drink, don't drive. If you must drive, don't drink. God bless you.